As I said, there's been a short break in transmission. This has never happened before. I want to know if someone reported the program. The PVP are up to their wickedness. But of course, Mr. Adams, regional chairman of Region 10, is back on the program here with us, and we will continue. We will continue. Go ahead, Mr. Adams.
Yeah.
We're live on
And
here.
so I would have given every councillor responsibility.
Not getting any song there from you.
Test. I'm hearing you clear.
I'm not getting any song from your end there.
All right, let me see what's going on here. Because I'm
If you
hearing
can
you, my
check your
microphone is
microphone.
on.
Can someone indicate if
Test.
they're hearing me? Can someone send them? Darren, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, but it means there's something wrong with your microphone. You need to connect back your
Uh,
Bluetooth, I think,
I'm hearing. I'm hearing you.
because we can't hear you.
Let me see.
Someone said they can hear both of us, but I'm not hearing you.
You hearing me now?
I don't know what's happening.
I'm hearing. Test. One, two.
Yes, I'm hearing you now, Darren.
Yes. All right. Good. So, and basically, I went in there to make representation for the people. I'm happy I was able to donate sports gears. As I said, I took direct responsibility for Rivers View. I promised to visit them regularly. I went to Falmouth as well, which is close by. And so I will continue to go to those outlying areas as far as Kurupakari and meet with our residents and the people of Region 10 in those outlying areas. Um, but it was a very good trip. The residents there were happy to see us. And what I've been doing in an attempt to connect with them, especially the young people, every community that we visit, I will set up a a room with them so that I can communicate with them and hear from them directly so they do not have to go through any channels. I have an open door policy. They can message me anytime. I will
Yeah.
respond. And I think that is sitting well with them.
Well, look, I am very, very elated. I'm very, very happy that you take time out to come on this program, as you take time out to go on other programs and to visit, residents throughout the length and breadth of Region 10. We are aware, you said earlier, you spoke about issues that are affecting Guyanese as a whole. Public service workers being sacked, a public service college being threatened to close, and so much things. Budget slashed for Region 10. Are you optimistic that this government will bring genuine development to Region 10?
I I am I'll take it with a grain of salt. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why. I would have made a commitment to the people to always keep them engaged, to always make representation for them. And so when the president was coming to Region 10, to Linden at the Watuka House, many persons were upset that I attended the forum. But I believe that wherever members of the administration, whenever they attempt to come into Linden, I want to be there to represent the people. And so at that meeting, I made it clear that I would like to see house lots being given to the people of Linden, and that we don't see a situation where people are coming from out of other regions and benefiting from house lot. I have made it public to those residents in Region 10. If you would have received a house lot or paid for a house lot to go and begin building your house, start your foundation, do not um, give back any receipt or turn back in any paperwork. If the government is coming, they must develop new areas, and we will be monitoring it to ensure that these lands are allocated to people who have applications in the system here. We ask for lands and survey to open up their lands and approve those lease lands to the people so that they can get involved in agro processing and business and so on. I know people who want to set up vulcanizing shops. I know investors who want to come and set up fast food restaurants here. I will not be the regional chairman to deny anyone. I made it clear. I do not. My office does not administer or deal with finances. So you don't have to bring anything and give to me. I just want to ensure that whenever you're doing your project, that you employ Londoners or people from Region 10. I want to ensure that the dormitory that was started under the coalition at the Technical Institute is completed so that students who want to come out here and do a course, tertiary, study at that level, can be able to stay at that dorm and be able to complete their mechanic course or electrical engineering course or whatever it is they want. So um, I will not in any way, I would have said it, that we will hold the current administration accountable. These are taxpayers' money that are being spent. So I will not, I want to ensure that 100% of the budget is spent. In fact, in 20,
Still getting a problem with sound. I honestly believe that something is wrong. Can anyone hear Mr. Adams? Um, I think we're getting some technical difficulty again here. Maybe the internet is not, the internet acts up in Guyana. So I'm fine. Yes, Zainab John is saying she's not hearing you, Mr. Adams. If you can check your Bluetooth. So we have Region 10 Chairman here on Voice of the Diaspora, Mr. Deron Adams, and he's talking about issues, you know, relating to Region 10 and the government's reaction. And he has also spoken about accusations that were leveled on social media about him, his group collecting monies to repair a playground, and some corruption was involved according to the accusation, but that has been cleared up tonight, and the regional chairman is above board. He's here with us. Robert Popsarch is saying he's not hearing you. Deron, they can only hear me. So I think you're getting some. You can hear me too, Deron, can't you? So we're getting some difficulties. If you can disconnect the Bluetooth and just talk straight from your thing, we might be able to you disconnect it, ensure you disconnect it, and you can speak from your microphone on your device. We do apologize for these disruptions. The internet strength may not be that great at Linden and in Guyana, but we'll get by. And so yes, Region 10 Chairman Deron Adams here on Voice of the Diaspora, and we'll be wrapping up in a moment. Of course, still not hearing you, Mr. Adams. Still not hearing you. Okay, so he's off. He's probably going to call back and let us conclude. Let us conclude. But you would have heard from him. You would have heard from him all that has been mentioned, and when this government it goes out there to tell people that all is fine and dandy, and this is the good life that they got for people. In reality, it is not so. In reality, this good life that this government is promising apparently is not so. And officials such as Mr. Deron Adams, who is the chairman, the regional chairman of Region 10, they would have a first-hand knowledge of the problems they're faced with when dealing with this new government to get things done and to get things done properly and in a timely manner. He would have spoken a bit on it. Mr. Adams would have spoken a bit on it. Some of the challenges faced to bring development to the community. And so, in closing, Mr. Adams, what would you like to say to the people of Region 10, the people of Linden, and the people in the diaspora?
Well, I want them to know that we will continue to make representation for them. We will continue to visit communities. Very soon you will see us rolling out. And we're cognizant of the COVID-19 protocols, but we still want to engage our residents to hold bottom house meetings to let them know that we are still making representation for them. I'm saddened that there's an issue trending right now. I will not comment on it. I don't think it's prudent for me to do so at this early stage without having the information, but I'm disappointed from what I'm hearing that it's another example of real lack of leadership coming from the Linden Hospital complex.
That's quite a serious issue. That's quite a serious issue.
Yeah. There's that old saying that the fish rots from the head. And so
yeah, but just for the viewers' sake, this is a situation where the CEO of the Linden Hospital complex would have made a public statement that nurses on the night shift would go in, sign in for work, and then leave to go to their sweet men's house to sleep out. And those utterances are not only careless, but they can be simplistic and dangerous, because you have a situation where we already have domestic abuse rife in our country and in our communities. And for someone of that caliber that works in that institution to make a public statement that nurses are leaving work to go and sleep out with their lovers and so on, can cause serious problems in those families and relationships. What would you like to say about that?
Well, I think, it's sad. The CEO, who is supposed to be setting an example, we hear him clearly is alleged openly disrespecting hardworking nurses, and that speaks volume. It says a lot about the gentleman's character and how he perceives and how he thinks. I don't know what is his agenda, but this can cause massive social issues, as
Yes.
you would have just mentioned in the region, and we have to reject it in every form. I will be calling all of our councillors together to discuss this, and then I will issue a statement. What I think the CEO should have been focusing on is dealing with the more than 80+% of shortages of drugs and PPE gears that are currently at the hospital, and not making statements about people's personal life. That is disrespectful. And I think it's very offensive.
And it seems to be a fallacy too. It's not grounded in truth.
Yeah.
I understand.
So this can lead to massive problems. I actually heard a recording where he actually acknowledged that he said it, but he said that he said it in behind closed doors, or he was. I can't get the right context, so I don't want to think. But he is, you don't treat the people who.
Will there be a call for his resignation?
Well, the nurses, I believe, have called for that. And so if your employees are not satisfied in the environment that they're working in, then they will be in order. They have to decide. And they have made that clear. They're not comfortable working there. They're not given an opportunity to engage like was done in the past with the previous CEO. This kind of like a dictatorship being they're presented with there, and I'm concerned. Not being given PPE gears to work with. For example, in Rivers View, over 30 drugs are not there. Here, people are going for simple things for blood pressure. They can't have access to these things. And this is unacceptable. And I think that's what the CEO should be focusing on, and not getting involved in personal people affairs, and making those, very disparaging remarks
Remarks,
about
disrespectful and degrading remarks. My final
yeah.
question, because we press for time, is this. I understand that there seems to be increasingly a climate of fear at Linden in which persons are afraid to speak out publicly. Like, for instance, with this situation involving the CEO and those remarks, disrespectful remarks to women, you know, the nurses are afraid to come out and to say this is what happened. They're afraid to make any public statements with regards, because they're afraid of victimization. We would have seen since this government assumed office that there is a stifling of our voices, the voices of the Guyanese people who are not from this government constituencies, the stifling of their voices. They're not being allowed to say what they have to say in the national newspapers and on the traditional national televisions, television stations, and there is a paucity, of course, of media houses and mediums, information for the opposition and the coalition. And of course, this program will speak truth to power. There is a print section. I tried contacting the CEO today to no avail. Of course, I will try tomorrow. And we will do a story on this in our print media. And also, if it is possible, to have nurses to come on this program sometime in the near future to talk about this issue. What are your thoughts in terms of this fear that is being said, prevailing in our communities and in our country?
Yeah, well, as I would have mentioned, I know it. I believe democracy is under threat. People are fearful to speak out because they're being dismissed. Over 1,500 persons countrywide have lost their jobs already. Many here in Linden. I spoke of the ambulance brigade folks, the data entry, people working at the driver. These people, they're firing, there's no class or everybody across the board. So if you're a driver and they presume that you are a supporter of the coalition or you're Afro-Guyanese, you're being fired. The girl that served here as the representative for the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, she was fired. Cleaners are being fired. Sweepers are being fired. People at the SIP workers have not yet received the contract. They are being fired. So people are fearful. And so this is a fear that we have not seen. Talk what you may about what happened over the past 5 years. We had opportunities where freedom of speech, you could have spoken out. I am being prevented from going on the radio to address people. I'm being told what to say, what I cannot say for the first time. And so we have to utilize other forums because people are fearful. If they allow me to go on the radio, they might be victimized. The radio station might be shut down. So we're being curtailed. So we have to utilize forums like Facebook and these programs to get the message over, to let people know that it's not that we don't want to engage them, but it's that the proprietors
There's
of
a stifling of.
Yeah.
And I want to say this to the diaspora. I know that this program very soon will extend into a daily online newspaper, Voice of the Diaspora, with the help of people in the diaspora and with the help of people at Linden and in Guyana, in where we can sponsor two young journalists to cover stories and have a weekly newscast so that people can know what is happening in the council, in the Regional Democratic Council, in the town council, and across Guyana, and also in the diaspora. And so this program, of course, we are looking forward for that support and so that the voices can be heard clearly. And of course, you know that this program is a fearless one, and it will expose anything that ought to be exposed, and it will speak truth to power. Deron Adams here with us on Voice of the Diaspora. 10 seconds to wrap up.
Well, thank you. I'm happy that I was able to bring clarity to some of the issues, particularly the first one that I dealt with. We will remain engaged and continue to make representation for the people of Region 10. I want us as young people, we must ask ourselves as youth, continue to ask that question, what must we do differently? We must change our mindset, get involved in the process. I'm hopeful that the local government elections will happen this year so that we can have a fresh breed of leaders coming in and having an experience of what it means to serve at the level of the council and represent their communities. And we will give support to the local organs as the big brother here in the region to ensure that together we continue to develop Region 10. We continue to hold the current administration accountable. We ensure that resources are given equally across the 10 administrative regions, that those people who haven't yet received the money for the pink slip, that they receive their $25,000, and that just like all those persons who receive it in Barbies without any complaint, that the people in Region 10, they can come back and give those people their money, that the monies that have been set aside for salary increases for teachers and nurses and our police, that it's given to them. 6 billion was left. We didn't see increases for public servants in 2020. We have not seen any for 2021 in the budget. And we're hoping that through representation and forums like these, we'll be able to force them to come out and give a 10% across the board to public servants.
Thank you very much. Regional Chairman of Region 10, Mr. Deron Adams, here on Voice of the Diaspora. Thank you all of my guests who have come on this program, and also the viewers who are most important. We really appreciate you taking the time out to be following this program. Those of you in the US, those of you in Canada, the Isles of the Caribbean, and at home in Guyana, let us continue this struggle and let us support each other. These are crucial times. Deron Adams, Regional Chairman of Region 10, thank you for being on the program.